The jungle didn't breathe, it listened. The air clung to my skin like a wet shroud. Humid. Heavy. Still. Ultra Prime was supposed to be dead land, a planetary footnote. But the Dominion wanted it cleared, for mining, for conquest, or maybe just because we still breathed here. Through the cracked scope of my rifle, I watched the patrol stumble through the undergrowth below. 8 of them. 2 armored for stealth. 2 loud for anything except overconfidence. They moved like they owned the place, every step a declaration. Primitive world. Primitive tactics. One muttered voice warped through the translator clip to his collar. Another snorted, tapping the battered old warning sign half buried in mud. Danger. Live rounds. Human zone. A museum piece, he said, laughing. Do they think metal slugs can scare us? They were big. Taller than us. Faster in open combat. But they made a mistake most conquerors make, confusing silence with weakness. I clicked the rifle's bolt open and back, smooth and patient. No sound. No hurry. 3 days I'd been tracking this unit. They kept to routine, always at 0430, looping through Sector Delta. Same route, same rhythm. They didn't even bother to jam comms today. That was arrogance, and opportunity. The scope adjusted, finding the one with rank markings. Taller than the rest, and he walked in the middle. Classic Dominion formation, put the commander in the center, shielded by numbers. Good idea if you're up against armies. Not ghosts. I checked the wind, barely a whisper, drifting left to right. Accounted for. Beneath my ghillie suit, my pulse matched the jungle's quiet hum. Not fear. Focus. The kind you earn through training, through loss, through the kind of grief that doesn't fade, it sharpens. A voice crackled faintly through their comms. Report. The leader touched his wrist. Nothing to report. No signs of activity. Just old traps and human trash. I exhaled, letting the air bleed from my lungs like a long-held grudge. Target lined up. Breath steady. Trigger pressure. Crack. Not a kill shot. Deliberate. I aimed low, the round tearing through muscle just below the knee. He dropped with a roar, alien pitch and pain echoing through the canopy. Perfect. Panic hit them like a pulse wave. They scrambled into cover, scanning wildly, shouting over each other in half-formed strategy. I was already gone. Crawling back into the green, I disappeared. That's what they didn't understand. On Elta Prime, you don't run, you vanish. This jungle wasn't just cover. It was my partner. My ally. Their voices faded behind me, curses swallowed by the vines. An hour later, I was in a different nest, a different tree, a different breath of wind. Below me, they were dragging their injured officer back to base. He was still screaming. A good sign. I wanted him alive. I wanted the story to spread. I etched a symbol into the bark beside me. Just a jagged spiral, 3 notches crossing through it. Resistance fighters used it back in the first contact war, a message, we're still here. I'd leave it near their drop zone next. Let them wonder how close I'd gotten. Night came fast on Elter. The sun didn't set, it fell, dragging shadows like knives across the dirt. From my perch, I watched their camp flare to life in unnatural colors. Lanterns, floodlights, thermal scans. They were scared now. You could see it in the way they moved, twitchy, sharp, rehearsed. That's what one bullet did. Not a missile. Not a drone strike. Just a well-timed message. Are you sure you want to keep playing with them? A voice came through my calm, private channel. Ellie. My only handler left. They're not ready to stop laughing yet, I whispered. You want backup? No. I want silence. Pause. Then, they've called in Threx. That made me blink. The general? He lands in 2 days. He's hunting you personally. A beat passed. Good, I said. In the distance, an explosion lit up the sky, probably one of their own drones hitting a decoy. That was the thing about over-reliance on tech. It sees heat, metal, movement, not intent. Not strategy. Not me. I crept forward at dawn, just close enough to watch them pack the wounded officer onto a med skiff. He was bound, shivering. Not from blood loss. From the idea that something was watching him, just beyond the trees. He was right. One of the younger soldiers knelt by a rock, noticed the spiral I'd carved into the dirt. "What does it mean?" he asked. The squad leader glanced at it, then at the jungle. "It means we're not alone." I slunk back into the trees, deeper this time. The sun rose higher, and birds called again, sensing the danger had passed. Temporarily. They were still out there. Stronger. Louder. Flashier. But they were looking in all the wrong places. Because they still thought this was war. They hadn't realized yet. It was a hunt. And I was just getting started. They arrived with thunder. The Dominion gunship split the sky at sunrise, metal wings outstretched, its descent scorching the treetops into ash. Birds scattered. The jungle held its breath. HFY had landed. Through the scope of my spotter lens, I watched the command crew unfold like a performance. Uniforms pressed sharp, armor gleaming, flanked by 2 Skarvek honor guards in ceremonial blades and Neurolinked helmets. Pure theater. A floating hollow drone recorded every step. Of course it did. Threx didn't do anything unless the Dominion High Command could witness his glory. From the shadow of the ridge, I chewed a strip of dried ration and waited. "Ellie, confirm, is that him?" I whispered into the comm. A pause. Confirmed. Biosig matches HFY. Eyes on you now. I adjusted my lens slightly, zoomed in. Threx stood with his hands behind his back, inspecting the charred landing zone like it insulted him personally. One of his officers handed him a data pad. 15 casualties, 3 missing, 1 critical. All from a single shooter, the officer reported. Threx didn't blink. "Tell me again." "Sir? 1 shooter?" The officer nodded stiffly. Threx turned slowly toward the tree-line. Not toward me, not exactly, but close enough I felt my jaw tighten. "No more patrols," he said. "We do not chase shadows. We eliminate them. Level Sector Delta. Then Sector Gamma. Burn everything." The officer hesitated. "Sir, what if the human isn't in those sectors? Then they'll die knowing they are being searched for. Fear is the first step toward extinction." The drone panned in on his face. He wanted that soundbite preserved. Dominion propaganda gold. I moved. Quickly. Quietly. South Ridge. There was a broken comms relay tower abandoned from an old Earth drop. Solar still functional. If I timed it right, I could hijack the signal burst and plant something of my own. By nightfall, the fires had started. The forest behind me glowed orange, smoke curling into the dark. They didn't send troops into the burn. They just ignited the ground from orbit and watched. Precision strikes, rolling flame, line after line, hoping I'd panic, run, expose myself. But I wasn't in the blast zone. I was setting up my next voice. At 0200 hours, a Dominion squad broke formation. Heat signatures showed them separating, 2 heading toward a noise trap I'd set, metal canisters clanking like dropped gear, echoing through the valley. The rest paused, scanned, argued. I tuned into their open channel. "This is Unit Sigma." Sounded like movement eastward. "Hold position. We wait for recon." "Sir, it could be the shooter. Or it could be your imagination again, Saret." A chuckle followed. Even in fear, the arrogance hadn't burned away yet. That would change. I waited until they settled. For near the cliff wall, 3 facing outward, weapons angled wrong, too high, always expecting tech from the skies. But I came from the dirt. I launched the pre-recorded audio through their comms, spliced from a captured Dominion soldier weeks ago. It was just 3 lines. "I saw it. I swear. It didn't make a sound. They're not gone. They're watching." The panic was instant. "Who authorized comm injection? Who the hell was that? Do you see anything?" They lit up their thermals. It blinded them to everything else. A rookie mistake, but they were rattled now. That's all I needed. I fired once. The comms operator dropped mid-sentence, neck severed clean through the collar by a subsonic round. Screams. Flashlights swerved. Plasma fire lit up the trees, wild and blind. I was gone before the second shot even echoed. Report. Ellie buzzed in my ear as I crawled into a new nest 2 clicks west. They're rattled. Infighting. Signal compromised. You're pushing them. I'm not done. A long silence. They're uploading drone hives tomorrow, she said finally. Thermal adaptive. Multi-angle sweep. They'll find you if you stay too close. I'll keep moving. Ghosts. Ellie. I cut in. Let them look. I want their eyes open and afraid. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. At first light, I climbed into the canopy and watched the aftermath. The cliffside was stained purple, alien blood, still glistening. A single Dominion trooper knelt beside the body, helmet off. His face, insectoid, segmented, twisted in disbelief. Not grief. Not rage. Just confusion. He whispered, low, as if not wanting even the jungle to hear. This isn't how they're supposed to fight. I recorded it. Just a 5-second clip. Uploaded it back through the hijack tower. Soon, that voice would echo through every Dominion feed in this quadrant. Let them hear doubt from their own kind. That night, Threx stood before his command tent, surrounded by soldiers too exhausted to hide their tension. His voice, sharp and proud, cut through the humid air. We are the Dominion. We do not fear. The firelight danced across his armor as he raised a clawed finger toward the forest. Whatever lurks there, whatever primate thinks itself clever, we will drag it into the light. We are evolution. They are ruin. I lay on the ridge above, scope on his heart. I didn't fire. Not yet. Instead, I etched another symbol into the dirt with my knife, a line bent twice. A hunter's mark. When they found it, the laughter finally stopped. The jungle wasn't silent anymore. It whispered in their language now, broken, frightened, unsure. They brought drones this time. Hundreds. Oval-bodied, sharp-winged, sweeping in tight loops overhead. Thermal adaptive, like Ellie warned. Smart enough to detect motion. Dumb enough to chase shadows. I moved between the roots, barely above the mud. Every inch of my body coated in ash and moss. The heat from the fire zone still lingered, masking my profile from sensors. Let them scan. I wasn't where they were looking. Ellie, I whispered. Talk to me. Drone nets live. Grid pattern, full coverage. You're boxed in ghost. Not for long. Be smart. I am. They didn't understand. All their technology, their perfect war machines, their formations, none of it meant anything out here. They still thought war was about control. But control's an illusion in places that don't obey. I reached the old supply dump before midday, a half-collapsed bunker overgrown with fungus and vines. Inside were the last traps I'd buried months ago. Crates of scavenged earth tech. Not weapons bait. Batteries, comm wires, makeshift explosives. Just enough noise to make a patrol lose their rhythm. I didn't need to fight them all. Just make them doubt each other. That evening, 2 Dominion soldiers separated from their squad near the lower basin. One slipped into the ravine, chasing what he thought was movement. The other tried to call him back. Then the screams started. He wasn't hurt. Just caught in a snare, upside down, disarmed, panicked. But the sound was enough. His partner opened fire blindly into the brush, shouting coordinates, demanding backup. Backup never came. Because I jammed their relay. 15 seconds of silence. That's all it took. When the others finally arrived, they found one of their own shot dead. Friendly fire. And no human in sight. That night, I listened to their chatter. Cannot trust thermal anymore. Shadows everywhere. Are we sure it's just one? Maybe a pack of them? Shut up. It's one. The same one. You saw it? No. That's the point. No one does. In the silence that followed, I heard the shift, the moment confidence curdled into doubt. By the time morning hit, I was crawling near their base perimeter. I needed eyes inside. They'd built a forward command post, crude fencing, motion lights, plasma turrets perched like vultures. In the center was Threx's tent, steel bones and black fabric stitched with Dominion insignia. But it was the side tent I cared about. Communications hub. That's where they coordinated everything: drone pads, heat sweeps, supply drops. I watched a junior officer exit, helmet off, muttering to himself. His movements were stiff. Exhausted. I slipped closer. He didn't see me. None of them ever do. A knife tapped against the base of his neck. Just enough pressure to halt breath. "Don't move," I said. "Don't turn around." He froze. "You're going to tell me the drone relay frequency. Say anything else, and you'll never speak again." "Please," he whispered. "I'm just logistics." "Then you're useful. Give me the frequency." A pause. A tremble. Then he rattled off the numbers. I recorded it. Pressed the blade a little deeper. "You never saw me. You'll say you were jumped? That's all. Say it." "I was jumped," he stammered. "Good." I was gone before his knees hit the dirt. "Ellie. Got the relay code. Uploading now. Ghosts, they're spooked." "I know." "No, listen. They pulled back 2 squads from their flanks. They're collapsing inward. That's not retreat. That's desperation. They're trying to protect Threx." "Yeah. Then it's time." I waited until dusk. The relay dish was high on a plateau, West Ridge. Exposed. I had one clean shot. A round laced with an EMP slug. Scoped it. Wind calm. Distance calibrated. Trigger squeeze. Thump. No flash. Just a hum and a sudden blackout across their base. Lights flickered. Drones dropped like stones. Alarm klaxons wailed. I moved in the confusion. Fast. Massed. Slipped to the edge of camp and planted the final piece. A transmitter, looping the voice of one of their own, caught in fear, whispering. "It's watching us. Every step. Every thought." Broadcasted it through their fallback channel. Full volume. I watched the camp twist into chaos from the ridge. Threx emerged, fury painted across every line of his body. "This is not a soldier," he shouted. "This is a pest. A coward with toys." A Dominion officer stepped forward. "Sir, morale is dropping. The men—" "I don't care about morale. Burn the whole jungle if you have to." I almost smiled. They still didn't get it. This wasn't about courage. This was about control slipping through fingers that thought they held the galaxy. I left a message in the clearing that night, carved in a metal plate from one of their fallen drones. "This is not your world. This is a grave. Let them wonder how it got there." By the time morning came, I had disappeared again. Nestled high in the canopy. Watching. Waiting. They were unraveling now. Not from casualties. By dawn, the jungle reeked of scorched soil and dead ambition. The Dominion had torched half the valley. Smoldering black stumps lined the basin where green once stood proud. They thought the fire would drive me out. It only cleared my line of sight. Through the rising smoke, I lay prone at the cliff's edge, rifle steady on the rock, breath locked into a rhythm honed by silence and years of loss. The world narrowed to a single arc, the thin tent flap below, black with the Dominion crest, and the shape pacing inside. Threx Viacor. "Ellie," I said softly into my comm. "You still there?" Her voice crackled back. "Alive and listening. Tell me that transmission set. Your signal's patched into the main feed. Anything said within range goes out live to every Dominion screen in the sector. This your endgame?" "It's his stage. I'm just handing him the mic." A short pause. Then, "You sure about this?" "No. But I'm ready." I shifted slightly. The stock of my rifle rested against my cheek, warm. I'd cleaned it for the last time this morning. Not for show. For closure. Below, Threx emerged. No helmet. Armor trimmed in gold. He carried himself like a god, even with half his army broken and whispering behind his back. He stood in front of the command tent, looking straight ahead, maybe at the burned-out tree line, maybe at something beyond it. Then he spoke. "I am General Threx Vacor, heir to the Dominion flame. To the human hiding among the roots and ruin, I say this, your tricks end now." I watched him raise his voice to the calm drone hovering above. "You are not legend. You are not worthy. You are prey clinging to the fantasy of resistance." He turned slightly, addressing his own men now, but he knew the transmission was broadcasting far beyond them. "Let this be recorded. Let all species know, Earth's final gasp dies today." I took a breath. Measured the wind. Read the angle. His chest rose. I squeezed. The crack echoed like thunder. Threx's body jolted, armor splintered at the center mass, and he dropped, just a heap of gold and arrogance crumpled into the mud. The calm drone caught every second. Panic surged through the camp. Soldiers screamed orders. Some fired into the trees. Others dropped their weapons and ran. I remained still. Not one flinch. The silence after a clean shot is different. It doesn't hum. It doesn't weep. It waits. "Ellie," I whispered, voice flat. "Was the feed still live?" She let out a breath. Every word. Every frame. Dominion High Command heard their lion choke on his own roar. Good. I packed the rifle with slow, steady hands. My fingers were blistered. My knees raw from crawling. I felt every bruise, every breath. But it didn't matter. Because the myth was born. They wouldn't remember the exact name of the sniper. Some would swear I was more than one person. Others would claim I was a machine, or a native phantom of Elta Prime. Truth didn't matter now. Fear did. I moved through the smoldering brush, down the back slope. No more watching. No more waiting. As I crossed the ridge, I heard the Dominion fallback order broadcast across open channels. Retreat. Command fallen. Await further instruction. Even they didn't know what came next. Their script ended with victory. I had given them a blank page. I reached the extraction point by midnight. The signal beacon still pulsed from the base of the old Earth drop pod, now nothing more than scraps surrounded by vines. "Ellie," I said, "I'm at the beacon. Tell them I'm done. I'll call it in," she replied. "You won't hear from me again." "I know." A long pause stretched between us. Then, softer, "They'll tell stories, Ghost. I'm counting on it." I left the rifle buried beneath the roots of a twisted tree, barrel wrapped in the tattered flag of the old Earth forces. Not for ceremony. For memory. For the next soul who finds it. By the time I disappeared into the jungle one final time, the wind had shifted. Not just here. Across the stars. They had mocked our weapons. Now they feared our silence.